And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/Takes by Fans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered in multiple ways. Alrighty, today's a big old Saturday. There's no preseason games on today or tomorrow, but folks, next Sunday, maybe even next Saturday, but definitely next Sunday, preseason games on all day long. So don't fret on that. We had the Hall of Fame game, taking care of that preseason game, but now we're really going to get into the thick of it here starting next week, so cannot wait for that. But today on the show, we're going to be finishing up the Tennessee Titans team refresher. We got started on it yesterday, looking at kind of their weapons and their offensive coordinator. Little red flags on the offensive coordinator. Small red flags, but red flags nonetheless. So we'll finish that up and see how many wins we can give the Titans. And we will probably start a new team in our NFL refresher as well. So we have that today on the show. So let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day. And the first one, oh man, we got to talk about the mega deal that Josh Allen just signed. Yes, sir. I mean, honestly, last season, truly deserved. I mean, if I was a team, I'd be locking this up because I don't see Josh Allen not being good anymore. We talk about it all the time, folks, the first 2 years. I mean, let's just get it up because these numbers, I know I say this all the time, folks, but it is just truly, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a year 3 leap this great, folks, truly. Oh my goodness, the first 2 years of Josh Allen's career are bust potential, honestly, 100%. But that year 3, holy moly, folks. I mean, just last year alone, we put Josh Allen as the third best quarterback in the league right now. We have him above Aaron Rodgers currently on the list. And you don't get that high on the quarterback list if you're not great. And he really just blew us away last season, folks. So we all know the infamous first 2 years. Year 1, 52% completion percentage, folks. That is so atrocious. I can't even believe it. 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Absolutely abysmal. Then year 2, we got a little bit better, and that's kind of something that's great, getting better every single year. Not everyone's going to come out year 1 and look like Patty Mahomes or Justin Herbert, and that's fine, you know, because those quarterbacks just kind of are exceptions to the rule anyway. You need to kind of get your grounding. This is the natural progression that you should be seeing from a quarterback being drafted. He went 7th. No, this is 7th overall. Maybe the first year was a little bad for being 7th overall, but this is still a natural progression of just getting better every single year. So for that, Josh Allen definitely deserves the money. But here we go, year 2, 58% completion percentage. Once again, just getting better. That's great. 3,000 yards, so went from 2,000 to 3,000. Also played in 5 more games as well, so that's definitely going to help. And that also helps that completion percentage. Your completion went up while you were playing extra games. That's always a great sign there. 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Now that is good. We like that 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and we love if you have single-digit interceptions. So Josh Allen, not the best year overall, but some good highlights in year 2 that we could have potentially been building upon, but we didn't think you're going to go from 58% completion percentage to 69. Holy cow, folks. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. 69% is absolutely magnificent. I think Deshaun Watson, no, he didn't throw, did Deshaun Watson throw 70? I know he threw like 4,800 yards. Aaron Rodgers threw 70% completion percentage. I mean, folks, that's absolutely amazing. I think Teddy Bridgewater was up around 69% as well last season. And then Deshaun Watson, if my memory serves me right, yeah, he did throw 70. So there was a couple of quarterbacks that did throw like 68 to 70. This is a higher completion percentage year this year, and we're going to see if it continues to rise or if it's starting to kind of plateau and see if we have to kind of fix our new good with our good completion percentage numbers in this league, because over the last kind of 4 years, they have slowly been starting to increase. We like the kind of range of 62 to 65. That's where good quarterback play is, but it does seem like over the last 3 seasons, seasons, we are going to have to kind of start expanding that number to about 64 to maybe 67. That's kind of where we need you to be, but only time will tell, and we'll definitely kind of lock in that narrative this season to see what everybody's doing. But even if we do extend that number to 64 to 67, 69 is still absolutely amazing. So Josh Allen truly had an incredible year last year. He threw for 4,500 yards. We love that so much. Anything more than 4,000, I will always get behind. Unfortunate that Josh Allen will never be able to get into that coveted 5,000 yard mark in 16 games. Now that we're in the 17 game era, that 5,000 yard benchmark is really going to have to be increased as well. And once again, only time will tell to really kind of see what that new number is going to be. But throwing for 4,500 yards is absolutely brilliant. The 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, very, very close to 4-to-1. 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Folks, I mean, absolutely brilliant. A monster season that got them to a 13-3 record, that got them to an AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. I mean, we all know the Chiefs are the big giant in the AFC, and that's who you have to go out there and beat. So let's take a look at what Josh Allen did just to truly see if he deserved this money. Let's see how he was doing in the playoffs, because those regular season stats were absolutely great. Were we still getting that same great production in the playoffs, or is that an area that we need to see Josh Allen grow a little bit more? So here we go. Last season in the playoffs, first game against the Colts, 74% completion percentage, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, folks, fantastic right there. That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. All right, then game 2 against the Baltimore Ravens, 62% completion percentage, 206 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Completion percentage came down a little bit, yards came down a little bit, touchdowns came down a little bit, because you're going further in the playoffs where you expect to face better and better teams. And then we get capped off here at the AFC Championship game where Josh Allen threw 58% completion percentage. He threw for 287 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick as well, and they lose by 14 points. A little bit of a blowout there. So overall, a great year by Josh Allen, but we are seeing as he progresses in the playoffs against the best teams, he's coming up a little short. And this is folks, this is just year 3, his first real experience in the playoffs. Yes, he got there in 2019. They lost to Houston, but this was their big run. He had that initial playoff experience under his belt from 2019. He learned and built upon that. And that's what Josh Allen does. We just saw it the first 2 years. He learns and builds upon it. So, getting that AFC Championship experience against that huge beast in the AFC of the Chiefs, I really think that's going to help Josh Allen overall. So the man is truly an amazing quarterback last season. We're hoping that there are 2 other factors that could have played into Josh Allen being absolutely amazing last season. The first one is Stefon Diggs. We know he's an A1 tier 1 wide receiver in this league. Put him in the top 10, potentially top 5. I'll let y'all make your arguments on that. But the other one, I do think Stefon Diggs does help him out a little bit, but I'm not going to kind of knock Josh Allen for having great wide receivers. I'm not going to do that. The thing I think is a little bit more important to watch for this season is last year was COVID, really rarely fans in the stands. And if there was fans in the stands, it was like 4 people. So you could still hear on the field very, very well, communicating to your receivers, getting the linemen all set, knowing their assignments, knowing who the Mike linebacker is and all that. You can hear a little bit better when there's no fans in the stands. There's not that added extra home field advantage with the roaring fans just screaming and yelling at you. That takes the pressure off of you a little bit. So how does Josh Allen play now that fans are going to be back in the stands this year? We got full packed stands every single game this year. All teams have been approved for full attendance in every single game. So now how are these quarterbacks that had this kind of inflated completion percentage last year, everyone hovering around like 68 to 70%. I think there was like a 5, 6, 7, 8 maybe quarterbacks max in that kind of 68 to 70% completion range, which is absolutely great. I mean, I'm not going to knock that, but let's see if that is sustainable now that there's fans in the stands rocking and roaring, yelling, cussing, calling you out, saying you're trash, doing just kind of the classic things that fans do in the stands, folks. Get rowdy, get your team pumped, and get the opposing team off their mark. So we're going to have to kind of track that pretty solidly here for Josh Allen, and we'll see if he kind of rises to the occasion. It seems like the Bills are truly believing in him because they just paid this man a 6-year contract extension worth $258 million, including $150 million guaranteed. So the Bills are really kind of saying, yeah, those other kind of factors, Stefon Diggs, the crowd noise, that's not going to affect Josh Allen, and Josh Allen will continue to keep on getting better and better and better and better. So I would love to see Josh Allen keep playing at this high level. I think he can. I don't really think those narratives of Stefon Diggs in the fans in the stands will play too much a part. I mean, when we just look at his stats, I mean, the only natural thing to happen this year is a slight step back. Probably still at like 4,200 yards, maybe not quite at 4,500, but maybe also quite at 4,500 because they have that extra added game. So maybe he will be back at 4,500 yards. At 69%, I see him coming back just a little bit, maybe 67, which is still great, absolutely fantastic. We'll still count that a successful year for Josh Allen if he throws 66, 67 completion percentage. I would have no problem with that. So we'll just see how big, or really just how small that step back is, because, I mean, these numbers are just, I mean, these are masterful numbers, folks. These are masterful. These are Aaron Rodgers. These are Tom Brady. These are Drew Brees type numbers right here. Absolutely fantastic. Greatest of all time argument. And Josh Allen just did that year 3. So we'll see what he does this year. But truly, I mean, I would pay him that money. Based off of last year alone, I would pay him that money just because he's shown that he is continuing to grow, that he is getting better every single season. So this third season right here is a great benchmark on what this man can really do at his maximum potential. So I would definitely, I've got no problem with him getting paid all this money, honestly. I love it. All right, so let's go into the deal a little bit deeper here. Let's see what PFF is saying, just to kind of get, the wording and, how many a year and incentives and all that. So we'll get a nice understanding of the Josh Allen contract here. So let's see what we get here in this article. The Buffalo Bills and quarterback Josh Allen have reached an agreement on a massive, truly massive contract extension to make him the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. The move comes right before the preseason deadline set by general manager Brandon Beane. Allen is now slated to receive a whopping $258 million over 6 years, with $150 million of that being guaranteed, and that's just absolutely fantastic, folks. I mean, just imagine waking up and there's $150 million in your bank account. You're just like, sheesh, yes, sir. Folks, if you ever wake up and there's $150 million in your bank account, you've made it. Congratulations, Josh Allen. You have made it. You have one life. Congratulations. You have accumulated mass amounts of wealth. I'm jealous. I am jealous. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. All right. What else we get here? His per year salary slots in behind only the Kansas City Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes, and his new contract includes the most guaranteed money in league history. And Patrick Mahomes just had that at $141 million guaranteed, and Josh Allen said, yeah, well, I'm getting $150 guaranteed. You're getting a little bit more money in the long run, but in guaranteed money, I'm rich now. I'm $9 million richer now. What's up, baby? Yes, sir. So quarterback money is just getting absolutely ridiculous. Dak Prescott just signed his new deal, $126 million guaranteed, the third highest compared to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. So money is being thrown around here, folks. And Lamar Jackson is just chomping at the bit to get his deal signed. And he's going to have to put up an amazing performance this year to try and get that money that matches Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, because, I mean, they're both in the AFC. Now you got Lamar Jackson. I mean, this is going to be a tough AFC to come out of for the next, 10 years. And now we're going kind of back to the OG Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, where they were just taking turns winning the AFC. Mostly it was Tom Brady, but Peyton Manning and Ben Roethlisberger would sneak up every kind of, year, 2 years, and kind of challenge Tom Brady for the AFC crown. And that's, I think, what we're going to be getting with these three quarterbacks now. Patrick Mahomes is a Tom Brady. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes basically every single year coming out of the AFC. But in a year, 2 years, every 2 years, we'll get a Josh Allen. Every 3 years, we'll get a Lamar Jackson, something like that. So, I mean, the league is truly in great hands with these young, talented, amazing passing of the football quarterbacks out here. So we love it, folks. I've got no problem with players getting paid. Y'all know I'm all about that money. Get that money while you can. And Josh Allen just truly secured the bag. So applaud to that. All right. Allen's year 3 breakout in 2020 was nothing short of an anomaly. Exactly that, folks. Truly that. I have never seen a year 3 leap that great. I've never seen that. After posting passing grades of 58 and 61 in his first 2 NFL seasons, I don't care about those numbers. Those mean nothing to me. In regular season play, I don't care about this. I just want to know about the contract. That's all I'm out. That's all I'm asking for here. We just looked at the stats. We broke them down. I don't need y'all's numbers. That's why I don't like QBR. I don't like people making up their own numbers here because it's just whatever their algorithm is. Whatever they're putting into that algorithm may not be the same thing that I value. I value completion percentage. I value yards, and I value touchdown to interception ratio. That's what I judge my quarterbacks on. So I don't know what PFF is doing with their algorithm. It's kind of trash. I'm saying it's trash. I don't even know it, and I don't like it. So I don't care about what their PFF grades are for them. Don't care. I came for the contract news, and I'm not getting any contract news. So, all right, we're going to have to exit this article a little bit early. So that's what the contract is, folks. 6 years, $258 million, $150 guaranteed. So fantastic to Josh Allen. Truly deserved on this money, and we'll see if he can kind of keep it up next season. I believe he can. But do you think all this money is going to corrupt Josh Allen? No, of course not. The kid is a young, humble kid, and you love it. He wants to be a Bill for life. I mean, we heard he wanted to be a Bill for life when he was trash, and the team was still embracing him. I mean, the team was embracing him the year 1 and year 2, and those stats were not good, folks. Really not good. So Josh Allen loving the city of Buffalo, loving the fans here, embraced by the fans, loved by the fans. He's getting high praise from Jim Kelly, the greatest Bills quarterback of all time, which is probably now goes to Josh Allen now, honestly. That no other Bills quarterback had a better year than Josh Allen last year, folks. So Josh Allen is now the best Bills quarterback of all time. I've got no problem saying that. And he's now the richest Bills quarterback of all time because of this deal. So absolutely fantastic. And Josh Allen is staying humble as ever. Josh Allen, after signing a 6-year, $250 million contract extension, says, quote, "I know they didn't pay me for what I've done. They did this because they expect me to continue what I'm doing and expect me to go and win this team some championships." And that's truly what Josh Allen is going to have to do to cement his legacy. We had Jim Kelly. He never won the Bills a championship, folks. Okay, this is, you could be good, but you cannot get the title. This happens all the time. Aaron Rodgers is very, very good. Only has 1 title. Just because you're great in this league does not mean that you instantly get titles. Russell Wilson was fantastic out of the gate. Still only 1 ring. Patrick Mahomes, fantastic, amazing, greatest of all time coming out of the gate. Only 1 ring so far. Tom Brady, he's got 7 of them. So that's kind of who you're chasing after right now. Who all these quarterbacks are chasing after. Even Aaron Rodgers, at 30, what is he, 36? 37? Going on to 38. So Josh Allen's gonna have to get the hardware. He's gonna have to get the rings, bring the city of Buffalo a Super Bowl because, the last time they were in the Super Bowl, they were in 4 straight and they lost them all. So that's what Josh Allen is coming up against, and it's gonna be tough now that Patty Mahomes is so freaking great, and Lamar Jackson could be so freaking great if they get the offensive coordinator right and the play calling right and some decent deep ball wide receivers for the man. That's what he's up against. And now you got Justin Herbert, who's coming up. I mean, that man had a great rookie year. So if the Chargers start getting their other pieces figured out. So Josh Allen is truly going to have his work cut out for him. He needs rings. Yes, AFC championship games are good. Get as many as you can. But at some point, we're going to have to start turning these long playoff runs into long winning Super Bowl runs. And, Josh Allen has got some stiff competition here in the AFC, and you still got Tom Brady if you make it out of the AFC in the Super Bowl. You still got Aaron Rodgers if you make it out of the AFC in the Super Bowl. So, we'll see if the kid can go get it done, but an amazing last season. We'll see if he builds upon it. I'm rooting for the kid. The man is absolutely spectacular, fantastic, and we'll see how he does year 4. All right, let's keep going here. We got a little update on Jimmy Smith, cornerback for the Ravens, kind of the third stringer out there, and we said that he was locking up some solid tier 2 wide receivers last season, and this is kind of a huge part of this Ravens team. They've got great corners, and they can kind of just keep switching and interchangeable, giving some rest, great rotation there. So when Jimmy Smith was carted off of the field yesterday in practice, we were a little worried for the overall well-being of this Ravens team, but everything is coming back good on Jimmy Smith. So they are saying it's not serious and it's a low ankle sprain, and they are just saying that he's going to be possibly out for about 1 to 2 weeks. So nothing too major here for Jimmy Smith. Miss a couple of weeks of practice. We'll get a kind of week, maybe 2 weeks of practice before the season begins, and that should bring him right back up to speed. That kind of game physique, game rhythm, game tempo, game stamina that you need. Jimmy Smith should be able to get that back with a week or 2 weeks of practice after he comes back from this low ankle sprain injury. So nothing serious about Jimmy Smith. Got carted off for kind of no reason. So a little bit of a little bit of a diva, a little bit of a diva out there getting carted off the field. It's a low ankle sprain, dude. Okay, relax. So everything is good on Jimmy Smith, folks. Every Ravens fan can take a little bit of a sigh of relief. Alrighty, but this was not potentially good. We had a potentially another injury. I mean, folks, all these potential injuries that are coming back not serious. Carson Wentz's foot injury doesn't seem that serious. We had Chase Claypool 2 nights ago in the preseason game where Mason Rudolph threw a pretty great pass. That was the best throw of the entire preseason game. That Mason Rudolph to Chase Claypool throw that Chase Claypool had to dive for, and he kind of landed on the ball, and that was kind of a little bit of an injury scare, but it just seemed like he got the wind knocked out of him. The Kenny Galladay hamstring, that came out to be nothing. The Jimmy Smith lower ankle sprain turns out to be nothing. And now we had another scare yesterday at Vikings practice. Justin Jefferson going up and trying to make a play right here and comes down and lands on his shoulder. We can see it here in the video. You see him land on that shoulder and then he rolls over and kind of grabs at it. You can see he's wincing in pain. The man is truly looking hurt. And this was potentially really not good. But tests are starting to come back from Justin Jefferson's injury yesterday. And they say he went down, suffered a separated shoulder or sprained AC joint, and then they ran further tests. Tests came out as good as possible for Justin Jefferson, who is now considered day-to-day. All positive news. So once again, another kind of sigh of relief here for Vikings fans, something that could have been truly detrimental. I mean, Justin Jefferson is amazing. He is their tier 1 wide receiver on the team. Then you have Adam Thielen, and if you bring him out, now Kirk Cousins gets a little bit worse for wear. We see, Kirk Cousins really only good because you have Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, and then you lose Stephon Diggs and bring in Justin Jefferson. It's just like, geez Louise, he's having great pieces, and then you have an amazing running game right behind him in Dalvin Cook. So this really would have hurt Kirk Cousins' overall ability to be an efficient, great passer that we've kind of seen. He's kind of, borderline above average game managing quarterback in this league. Put him in the same category as Ryan Tannehill. Put him in the same category as Baker Mayfield. So everything is good here on Justin Jefferson, and we absolutely love it. We want to see this man keep on getting better. We know this man is going into year 2 here. Let's get up his stats from last season just to remind y'all how great of a rookie year that this man had. Rookie year, 1,400 yards on the dot. Ooh, that's stunting. Isn't that a little stunt? Kind of getting a round number. It was his last catch. Hey, I'm just going to catch this last ball for 16 yards because that's going to put me exactly on the dot for 1,400. That's a little bit of a stunt. I love it. So nice round 1,400, 7 touchdowns. He had 70% catch percentage, which is absolutely great for a rookie year. I mean, that's great for a normal wide receiver. For a rookie, that's fantastic. So I would like to say I would bet some solid money that this is one of the, I would say top 3. I'm gonna go top 3 best catch percentage seasons by a rookie quarterback. Should we try and test this narrative very quickly? Let's pull up some of the greats. Let's go to Megatron. Calvin Johnson. I just want to see, because that 70% is looking real gosh dang good. Let's just quickly see what we can do for rookie wide receivers. Calvin Johnson, year 1, started 10 games, 51%. Year 2, 52% catch percentage. Year 3, 48% catch percentage. So he never even broke 70% catch percentage, folks. Gosh dang, I know he was getting targeted so much, though. Look at this. Oh, my God. In 2012, he was targeted 204 times. Oh, my God. That's so crazy how many that is. Usually it's like 150 to like 180 for like solid A1 tier ones, and this man got past the ball 204 times. He led the league in receptions that year at 112 or 122. And he led the league in receiving yards at 1,900. Jeez Louise. But Calvin Johnson never had 70% catch percentage. That's amazing. That man just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Let's go to Julio Jones. See what he's got up. Rookie year. I think he's catch for 70% a couple of times. Year 1, 56. Year 2, 61. Year 3, 69. His last season, he caught 75% because he only played in 9 games. So Justin Jefferson truly is stunting out here. Who else do we do? DeAndre Hopkins. Can we get him up? What does DeAndre Hopkins got going on for catch percentage rookie year? 57. He hit 70 in 2018, and he hit 71 in 2020. 69. He went 3 straight years, basically 70% from 2018 to 2020. But once again, didn't do a rookie year. Who else do we got? Jeez Louise, who are we missing? Should we do Stephon Diggs? Former Viking. Maybe it's the Vikings. Maybe all the Vikings wide receivers got it. Let's go to Stephon Diggs really quickly. Stephon Diggs, year 1 with the Vikings, 61. Year 2, 75%. Love that. Just last season, 76%, the most he's ever had. And look at this. Look at this. Just last season, highest receiver at 127. Highest receiving yards at 1,500. Fantastic. And he still caught 76% catch percentage. So Stephon Diggs did it year 2, not quite year 1. So very, very solid here by Justin Jefferson. Absolutely fantastic. And truly, the Vikings are going to need this man if they want to have a chance in that division, if they want to have a chance in the NFC just in general. And Justin Jefferson is A-OK, folks. Huge, great news here for the Vikings, and just Justin Jefferson himself. I mean, you don't want to go from an outstanding rookie year to, a sophomore slump by being injured. How unfortunate would that be? So everything is good. Tests are coming out good as possible for Justin Jefferson. Alrighty, this headline, folks, we have not read this article yet. We do everything live here, first live takes here. But this caught our eye big time, big time, because we've kind of been we're hearing so many different things from this 49ers team about who's going to start as the quarterback and who's going to play as the quarterback and what are the circumstances needed to go from Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey Lance. We don't know anything yet, really. We're getting kind of contradicting information. We're hearing one thing from the head coach, Kyle Shanahan, and another completely different thing from the media and the sports writers, and I know we shouldn't be paying attention that much to them, but they do make some good points. And then what the NFL writers say, Kyle Shanahan or somebody, the general manager, kind of reaffirms when they kind of get asked those questions. So we're truly big time up in the air on who's going to be the starting quarterback here for the 49ers. And now we get this little quote, this attention-grabbing headline right here. 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan says Trey Lance is, quote, going to play for us this year. Oh, he is. 100% confirmed. Does he start week 1, 2, 3, 7, 17, Super Bowl, playoffs? What are we talking about here? So let's go into this article and see what Kyle Shanahan is planning to have this team look like at the quarterback position. So let's see what we get here. All right. It could be just a matter of weeks before San Francisco 49ers rookie quarterback Trey Lance takes full command of the team's offense, but at the very least, the number 3 overall draft pick will get some meaningful situational action this season. Quote here by Kyle Shanahan, Trey's going to play for us this year. I know you guys are all running to Twitter on that, truly. Situationally, he's going to get plays. That doesn't mean that he's going to be the starter or anything, but he's going to get plays, and you've got to prepare him for that every way possible. So, situationally, Trey Lance is going to be out there. Now, do they use him in a dual threat role, a little bit of a Taysom Hill role? What are we kind of expecting in this situation? Is it just throwing the ball? Is there some throws that Jimmy G still can't make or can't do in this offense that you need Trey Lance. Trey Lance is the only one that can run this. So what's really going on here with this situational? How is it? Is it running or is it passing? What's going on with that? Let's see if we can get a little bit more. Well, that's the only quote, so that's a little unfortunate, but let's see what else we get in this article. Maybe NFL.com has some inside knowledge. Let's see here. Let's finish up these last two paragraphs. Here we go. To this point in camp, Shanahan has definitely maintained that Jimmy Garoppolo is the club's de facto starter. Just days ago, he said the veteran can beat out any rookie when playing at his best. And this is what we've been saying, folks. We just don't know. We're hearing that it's always Jimmy G, but then we're also hearing Kyle Shanahan always kind of praise and gush over Trey Lance. Same thing with the general manager. And we're like, all right. And now you're saying that he's definitely going to play, but situationally. But you just told us Jimmy Garoppolo can beat out any rookie, and Trey Lance is a rookie. So what are we doing here? I don't know what's going on here. I know who's the Bears starting quarterback is going to be week 1. It's Justin Fields. I don't know the Jaguars. I don't know the 49ers. I don't know the Patriots. So, big quarterback mystery here so far early in training camp, folks. We're heading into basically week 2. So, or no, we just finished up week 2. We're heading into week 3. Jeez Louise, folks, the time flies. Jeez. Oh, my goodness. All right. Let's see what else we get here. It's understandable that Shanahan would want to lower the wattage on the spotlight Lance faces. Yeah, that is true. Considering he's coming from a small school program, truly small school, truly, folks. He wasn't in the FBS. He was in the he wasn't in the FCS. He was in the FBS. Once again, what is that? All right. And only made 17 college starts thanks to COVID-19 cancellation and his early draft entry. So, like, in another big notion, I mean, folks, this is something that we hold kind of high on Trey Lance. He played in 2020, one game. He didn't throw a pick in 2019. He played one game in 2020 before the season got shut down, and he threw a pick. So, was it one great fluke season, or is this man the real deal and can play in the NFL? That's going to be decided this season, and so far we've been hearing great things about Trey Lance. So that's just something to keep a slight eye on. How alarming is that one interception in the one game that was played last season? We don't know yet. But signs are emerging that Lance's talent is too prolific for the bench. He got his first look with the first team on Tuesday with a designed run. Lance was a dangerous rusher at North Dakota State. Then there was this well-placed deep pass to Trent Sherfield in practice, viewed more than 1 million times. Oh, let me see this. Did we see this? I don't know if we saw this. Let me see this. Trey Lance going deep. Trey Lance going deep, tight spiral, pretty good. Here we go. Oh, look at that. That's great separation. Look, that's full 2 steps. Oh, my God, that's a little wide open. So it's still great placement. Don't get us wrong. This is a great ball. Look at this. Exactly where it has to be. But can we talk about this separation real quick? This is a full 2 steps. Holy cow. That's wide open in the NFL. You don't get much more wide open than this, folks. Jeez. And give credit to Trey Lance for hitting it. Didn't overthrow, didn't underthrow it, hit him right in stride. Is he going to continue on? Oh, yeah, and that's a TD, baby. Yes, sir. So you give him credit. This is a great pass right here. Can we count the yards on this one? Do we know where Trey Lance is at right now? I think it gets down to the 20. This is looking like maybe 30 yards. I would say 30. 30, 35, 40 max. 40's max. But this is great. This is great. This is great. Look at that. Man, oh, man. That's a great catch, too. Who's that wide receiver? Get that man in a starting role. Get that man in a starting role. So, man, oh, man. Trey Lance with the dual threat ability, the great deep throws, situational plays out here for Trey Lance. All righty. We're buying the 49ers. With Trey Lance now, 100%. Naturally, 49ers fans are excited for Lance's emergence, all the more because of what the club spent to get him. Not only using their top pick, but trading more picks, including 2 future first-rounders, to move up to number 3 to get him. Whatever substitution package Shanahan has planned for Lance at minimum contribution will be met with great anticipation. Alrighty. So Kyle Shanahan said this, and then he had to kind of go out and say something again, because now we get this longer quote. Here's Kyle Shanahan's full answer when asked about his public messaging regarding Trey Lance, and admitting that Lance will play at least situationally in 2021. Here we go. This is what Kyle Shanahan has to say. So hopefully, once again, we get some more insight on what's going on here with the quarterbacks for the 49ers. So here we go. Quote, I think I got to be conscious of it when talking to you guys. I understand that's what everyone wants to hear about. Everyone wants to know each day how practice went and where he is and are they competing, all that stuff. But it's very easy for me when I'm not talking to you guys, because it is what I'm trying to articulate. You're just putting in an offense. Guys, go out there and play football. And I know it sounds coach cliche, but the twos in every group are trying to surpass the ones. And I see Trey the same way. Yes, it's the quarterback position everyone is looking at, but we're in a situation where I don't see them competing. I see Trey's going to play for us this year, whether it's, I know you guys are all running to Twitter on it, that I mean situationally he's going to get plays. That doesn't mean he's going to be the starter or anything. He's going to get plays. You got to prepare for that in every way possible. Every receiver who makes our team is going to play this year. I know it's different, but when you have quarterbacks with different skill sets and stuff, it kind of makes it easier for me to look at it similar to other positions. That's why I don't think it's a problem on our team, and it's not a problem in there when we're discussing what we want to do. Alrighty, so once again, just truly hunkering down on, this man's not going to be the starter. The man's got great feet. The man's got some good deep ball accuracy. We kind of just saw there. So, situationally, we're going to put him out there. 2nd and 10, you're going to have to watch the dual threat game, get the linebackers up a little bit more, and then you trust Trey Lance's ability to air it out, and now you got a one-on-one matchup. Go and try and take it for the big home run hitter. You put that out on tape in week 2. Come back to that same look in week 5. The team is thinking, they're not going to run it with Trey Lance. That's what they want us to expect, so we're going to leave our linebackers pushed back when Trey Lance is out on the field, and that's where Trey Lance goes and gouges you for 20 yards. And then come week 8, when the team that they're facing is like, we've just seen one big pass, then we've seen one great run. What do? We leave our linebackers right in the middle of the field, and then it's just Trey Lance's ability to read what the defense is and then make the best play possible. So we'll see what it's going to look like here. We'll see what Jimmy Garoppolo thinks about this, how he feels about this, because we know, being the starting quarterback, people don't like to share the attention. Carson Wentz definitely didn't when Nick Foles took over and got all the praise for winning the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers doesn't really love Jordan Love that much. I think he likes him now, knowing that Jordan Love isn't really progressing as well as the Packers thought he would. Brett Favre hated Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady forced Jimmy Garoppolo to get traded. So, unfortunately, Jimmy Garoppolo isn't kind of highly regarded as a Brett Favre or an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady or anything like that, and he doesn't really have any room to kind of negotiate and be like, hey, if you start him, I am going to walk. They will say, okay, goodbye. You're injury riddled. We don't need you here. So it's going to be interesting how Jimmy Garoppolo handles this. He doesn't have the clout to really be like, hey, I'm the starter here. I don't even want this man used situationally. I will force a trade or force my way out of here, like Aaron Rodgers is kind of doing with the Packers right now. So we'll see what happens here and how well Jimmy Garoppolo takes it. Does it push Jimmy Garoppolo to be even better? We've kind of heard that from Kyle Shanahan, saying that Jimmy Garoppolo is the ultimate competitor, and having Trey Lance behind him is truly making him better because he's competing for the starting job kind of again. So we'll see how all this shakes out. Is Kyle Shanahan a genius for doing this, for taking Trey Lance, trading away a little bit of their draft future to secure this man? When you have Jimmy Garoppolo, he can't stay healthy, using Trey Lance's great skill set, kind of using both quarterbacks in situational plays in just situational situations, honestly, in the NFL. So we'll see how it all comes together. But that's where we're at with the 49ers right now. Trey Lance is going to play, but situationally. Starting, probably not right off the rip, but we'll see. Alrighty, let's move on here. Here we go. We got this nice little tweet here. George Kittle, y'all know we are big on the tight ends university. Here we go, tight ends. We're watching the tight ends with a Hawkeye lens this entire year. Travis Kelce, George Kittle, obviously kind of the top two front tight ends right now. Darren Waller, probably number 3. We got Kyle Pitts, even though he's a rookie, should be kind of shooting up the ladder very quickly. And we'll see what other kind of tight ends emerge. Evan Ingram, Mike Gesicki, Hayden Hurst. He's a tight end, correct? Pretty sure. Tebow. Hopefully not, but we'll see. So here we go. Quote. This is a quote by 49ers Trent Williams. He says, quote, "I've never seen a tight end do everything that well." He says he can block as good as any offensive lineman and catch as good as any receiver. And that's kind of the big point the tight end university was trying to kind of get that message across by having the tight end summit there this year. We do both. We do everything. We block, we catch. We do it all. We block like linemen, we catch like receivers, and we don't get paid like both. We don't get paid having both skill sets, and we don't get paid more money because of that. So George Kittle, obviously absolutely fantastic out here, and Trent Williams is like, gosh damn, yeah, this man is truly the real deal. So we'll see what the tight ends are doing this season. Are they just going to have an absolutely amazing season all across the board? Every tight end putting 1,000 yards receiving up because they've all learned from each other. But George Kittle, folks, this is this kind of new breed of tight ends here. George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Darren Waller is a freak of his own right, folks. I mean, geez Louise, 6'6", and can run as fast as freaking Jarvis Landry. It's crazy. Run as fast as Tyreek Hill, maybe a step slower. So George Kittle, we know, is the real deal, folks. And get prepared to watch the tight end breakout this year, folks. I can't wait for it. All right, let's talk about this. It's interesting. It's a little interesting. Here we go. Bo Scarborough, running back, is joining the Raiders. All right. We've talked about the Raiders a little bit this offseason. They've got great running backs, Josh Jacobs. They bring in Kenyon Drake. So it's like, what more running backs do you need? We also know that their running backs coach retired this year. Real interesting. And now they go out and bring in Bo Scarborough. Why? Just to kind of beef up the running back room a little bit? Okay. Like we said, when we look at the depth chart, these are great. I mean, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, I mean, that's what you need. You don't really need any other running backs here. You got Jalen Richard on your team, who's really done nothing for this Raiders team. He's been here for the last 5 seasons, going into his 6th season. So he has history with this Raiders team. So why would you go out and get Bo Scarborough just as a 4th-string running back out there? So it's just a little interesting that they go and pick this man up. They had Jalen Richard as their 3rd string. Like we said, did really nothing. Maxed out at 491 yards year 1, and then just kind of 200 yards for the last 4 seasons. But he's been here every season with John Gruden, and he's still not getting a lot of burn. So it's just interesting that they go out and get Bo Scarborough. Now, Bo Scarborough hasn't really done anything in this career. He's going into his 3rd year. First year with the Lions, rushed for 377 yards, and then just last season with the Seahawks, he only played 1 game and ran the ball 6 times for 31 yards. So nothing great on this man. The big benefit on Bo Scarborough is that he's 6'1", 235. That's basically Najee Harris, folks. That's exactly Najee Harris' size right there. So maybe he can come into his own a little bit, learn under Josh Jacobs a little bit, learn under Kenyon Drake a little bit, and improve. But he's already learned from Josh Jacobs, folks. I mean, this man, Bo Scarborough, went to Alabama. He went to Alabama, folks, for 3 years, was never really the main man out here. His best season was 2016, rushing for 812 yards. But when we look at, we know these Alabama running backs. I mean, this man was able to learn from some of the greats of the game, folks. In 2017, they had Najee Harris. He was able to learn from him. They had Josh Jacobs in 2017 as well, so he's able to kind of learn from them. And then let's go to Alabama in 2016. Who was he learning from in 2016 at Alabama? We have Josh Jacobs again, and that's really it. Calvin Ridley was on that team, even though he's a wide receiver. And then in 2015, that was Derrick Henry's last year at Alabama. Once again, Bo Scarborough potentially able to learn under the greatest of all time in Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry rushed for 2,200 yards that season. Oh my gosh. So, folks, whenever I see this man's numbers, they're just fantastic. 2,200 yards. So, Bo Scarborough, a little, that's why we're a little tiny concerned why he hasn't been like a breakout star already. Well, you just spent your time at Alabama with some great running backs, some of the greats in the league right now, and you're still not kind of at that level just quite yet. So we'll see if Bo Scarborough makes an appearance here this season, if he gets it done. We know the Raiders running backs are already kind of solid at number 1 and number 2, so don't expect to see a lot, but if you can kind of learn under them a little bit more and get a little bit better, maybe a solid third rotation. Maybe we're talking about this Raiders team going kind of that 3 running back route, like we're talking about with the Broncos, we'd heard, like we're expecting from the Colts, like we saw from the Ravens last year. So we'll see what they do here with Bo Scarborough, and we'll see if he's good or not. We'll see, because we don't know. Those first 2 years, he's done nothing really, so we'll see. Alrighty, folks, let's talk about this. Oh my goodness, we get our first finally inside look at the Denver quarterback competition. All we've been hearing that it's so neck and neck, and that it's going to take all 3 preseason games to name a starter. But we have a little bit of an insider here that is telling us who's actually the front runner so far. Are y'all ready? Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater? Broncos are leaning toward Teddy Bridgewater per insiders at camp. So we expect Teddy Bridgewater to be the starting quarterback. We've said that right from the rip ever since they signed Teddy Bridgewater, ever since Matt Rule got rid of Teddy Bridgewater in favor of the Jets. We knew that Teddy Bridgewater would be the starter here for the Broncos. Drew Lock going into year 3 here for the Broncos, learning the scheme, learning the offense, getting familiar, and he's not even kind of the clear-cut front runner right off the rip. That gave us big red flags, and we saw Teddy Bridgewater stats last season. That gave us great green flags. So the Broncos are leaning towards Teddy Bridgewater at this moment per insiders at camp, and we'll see. Obviously, we have to see preseason game number 1 next week. We'll see how that goes and see how well Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock are competing. So we'll watch for that very, very heavy. Cannot wait for that. We'll try to watch that the day after, because we do have NFL Game Pass, so we can watch the preseason games. Absolutely fantastic. Break them down and all that. So Teddy Bridgewater, front runner so far. We'll see if he can keep it, and we'll see if Drew Lock can kind of try to change their minds a little bit. And speaking of quarterback competitions, let's talk about the Jaguars camp, because we have been told it is an open quarterback competition. How much do we believe that? We're not totally sure, but it does seem like that Gardner Minshew is still getting great first reps with the one. So we have to kind of take it as Urban Meyer kind of telling us the truth that this is kind of an open quarterback competition here. So we get the quarterback roundup for the Jaguars yesterday. The 7-on-7s and the 11-on-11s. We get Trevor Lawrence. He went 15 of 25, and he had an interception in an end game situation, needing a touchdown. So that's not great for Trevor Lawrence. So we've really kind of seen a bumpy training camp here by Trevor Lawrence. He hasn't kind of been this impressive. He hasn't been, flawless and looking amazing and immaculate. Kind of, all the narratives of Trevor Lawrence coming into the NFL from, year 1 in college for Trevor Lawrence with Clemson. I mean, everyone was, highly regarding him as kind of the next Brady out here, the next greatest of all time. And he hasn't really been proving that in camp thus far, hence the open quarterback competition. So, Trevor Lawrence, 15 of 25 with an interception in a end game situation, needing a touchdown. Then we have Gardner Minshew going 17 for 21, better completion percentage there. He had a pass breakup and a drop, and then a 4th down incompletion in an end game situation, needing a touchdown. So no quarterback truly being great here with that end game needing a touchdown situation, both floundering there. But the fact that 2 interesting things here. Gardner Minshew has better completion percentage than Trevor Lawrence did, 15 of 25. That's not that great. 17 of 21. Let's get some numbers up. Always like to convert them into the numbers. So let's quickly see what these numbers translate into. So here we go. 15 of 25. 60% completion percentage. Once again, kind of low bar. And then let's see what 17 of 21 is. That is 80% completion percentage. So very, very good by Gardner Minshew. Both floundered with scoring a touchdown. The other big takeaway here is that Trevor Lawrence got more reps. He had 25 throws. Gardner Minshew only had 21. And we know reps are the hottest commodity in training camp. So Trevor Lawrence getting a little bit more the other day. Gardner Minshew making the most of all his lesser attempts. So truly, if it's kind of 50-50 and they're both looking good, who do you go with? Do you go with kind of the rookie, or do you go with Gardner Minshew, who has proven to have some solid stats, just need an overall better team around him? And we'll see if Urban Meyer has this kind of Jaguars team up to shape where it needs to be to compete for wins in this in the NFL. So, still an open quarterback competition here. Unfortunately, we don't have the insider at camp like the Broncos did telling us which one they're leaning toward. It's still kind of up in the air. And we'll see who goes and starts showing that they deserve to go and win the starting job. Like we said, next week when we start getting all the preseason games, that's really where we're going to be able to see what the hell is going on here with these quarterback battles. So, both not looking great, but one's looking pretty solid, and that's Gardner Minshew. We'll see. Alrighty, let's talk about the Dolphins here. Xavier Howard, contract negotiation, wants to get paid again, holding out a little bit, but Xavier Howard is on the field in today's camp for the Dolphins for the 11-on-11 session. Xavier Howard, I believe, has missed the last couple of practices. I don't really know the reason. I guess we can try and look it up really quickly here. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just kind of wanted to report it. But let's see, missing practices. Let's see if anything pops up quickly on this. I believe he's missed like the last couple. July 29th, he left with an apparent minor injury. That could have been why he was sitting out. We also know he does not want to be a Dolphin because he wants to get paid a little bit more. So whether it was the injury, maybe kind of milking the injury a little bit, whatever it is, he's back out on the field right now. Does that mean he's going to stay a Dolphin? No. Does that mean he's going to get traded? No. It doesn't really mean anything. It just means that he's out there practicing. So if you want to read into this very well, if you want to read into this very deep, go ahead and, this will mean he's staying. If you don't want to read into it that deep, it tells us nothing. So I'll let y'all read into this as much as y'all want. I don't even know. I don't even know how much I want to read into this, folks. A little. I'll give this kind of 25% good sign, but that's really it. Could be nothing. So we'll see. We'll see if Xavier Howard gets traded or not. Alrighty, the Jags just went out and signed Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin has really just never lived up to his big hype. He got drafted 8th overall, folks, in 2013. And let me read his stats here. He's a wide receiver with the Rams and the Cowboys in Green Bay last season. So an eighth overall pick. I'm going to read you his stats, and I want you to tell me if these are 8th overall stat numbers, folks. Y'all ready? First year, 418 yards. Second year, 242 yards. Third year, 473 yards. Fifth year, 509 yards. Sixth year, 47 yards. Seventh year, 140 yards. Eighth year, 177 yards. Ninth year, 20 yards. He only played in 4 games last season, but never really has started an entire season, never has been really the A1 tier 1 on a team, never really done anything. He's 5'8", a little bit of a speedster out there, not that kind of tall, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" wide receiver you want. He did catch 70% in 2014, his second year, but every other year it's like 50s, 60s. I mean, really 50s. Year 1, 58% catch percentage. Year 3, 59. Year 4, 54, year 5, 59, year 6, 61, year 7, 54. So just nothing really great by Tavon Austin, but the Jaguars are going to look to kind of, make him this all-star that he should have been year 1, rookie year, being drafted 8th overall. So we'll see if Tavon Austin has the goods or if he's going to continue his very, very mediocre career here in the NFL. Alrighty, and then the last thing to talk about, we got a top 5 takeaways from training camp, this time Albert Breer is talking about the Arizona Cardinals. So let's see what Albert Breer has been seeing from this Cardinals team in training camp when he observed them. So here we go. Takeaway number 1. Attention to detail equals huge emphasis. Cards felt little stuff slipping equals no 20 playoffs. Explains signing pros like Watt, Green, Connor, and Hudson. So attention to detail is going to be a big part on what they've been working here in training camp and getting them right for the season. Takeaway number 2, Rondale Moore can roll. Height's an issue. Staff thinks Rondale Moore's ball skills will mitigate it. All right, how tall is Rondale Moore? I thought he was like 6'1". Obviously not if they're talking about height issues. Maybe he's only 5'10", which obviously, not the greatest. See how tall Rondale Moore here and what we're truly talking about. Oh my God, it's worse than I thought. Oh my God, it's worse than I thought. 5'7"? Ugh, disgusting. We're talking about Tavon Austin at 5'8", not amounting to anything. All right, so yeah, definitely height's an issue. Thinks ball skills will mitigate it. Okay. Tyreek Hill, he's 5'10", plays like he's 6'3", so, but that's 3 inches shorter. So maybe he can play like he's 6'1", which is still good. DeAndre Hopkins, he's 6'1", but he plays like he's 6'3". So can a 5'7" guy play like he's 6'1", play like a 6'1" player who plays like he's 6'3"? Is that possible? Does that math translate? I don't know, folks. So we'll see. Rondale Moore, keep an eye on the shorty out there. Takeaway number 3. Lots of people thought AJ Green was done. I didn't. We really wanted to see him revitalize his career. We really thought he could, and that's exactly what we've been hearing so far. So we love that. But back to the takeaway. Lots of people thought AJ Green was done. Different story playing out here. Cards love him. Good relationship with Kyler Murray. Interesting stat that they had. About one of 3. About 1/3 of his 2020 targets were uncatchable balls. So once again, his low catch percentage, I believe, was like 57%. Just uncatchable balls by Joe Burrow and then whoever took over for Joe Burrow after he got injured. I'm blanking on that. So yeah, AJ Green, everything we've been seeing and hearing has been just freaking making us love it, folks. We just did a story about it the other day. It's up on our YouTube channel where we were praising and saying that primetime AJ Green is back. And when you have primetime AJ Green being the number 2 wide receiver on a team with DeAndre Hopkins being in number 1 and Kyler Murray's arm talent, sheesh, folks, sheesh. That's going to be fantastic. The Cardinals are going to be great this season. Cannot wait to watch them. All right, takeaway number 4. Zaven Collins has been a very quick study. Cards plan on him wearing the green dot. All righty. Green dot, I believe, is the radio helmet, so he's going to be communicating all the plays, kind of the main vocal leader of the offense. Usually give it to the linebackers as well. We have Zaven Collins as our number 2 linebacker on our big board. We just saw Michael Parsons in action 2 days ago in the preseason game for the Cowboys, real kind of solid there, but we do have Zaven Collins above Michael Parsons at number 2, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah we do have at number 1 above Zaven Collins, but Zaven Collins coming along really quickly here, and I expect that man to be out there week 1 starting in the linebacker position, being kind of the defensive voice for this Cardinals team. Love that. All right, and then takeaway number 5. Tight end and right guard are areas to watch, but there's no more important spot to sort out than cornerback. Byron Murphy's taken a big step forward, should be a top nickel. Question is, what's around him? Rookie Marco Wilson's flash cover skills remains to be seen. What Malcolm Butler has left. Yes, that is true. They do lose Patrick Peterson. They bring in Malcolm Butler, but we know Malcolm Butler, folks. He's been getting shipped around. It seems like he's got one good year with every team, and then they just kind of lose interest and they start to shop him around. Kind of started with the Patriots, him making the big play in the Super Bowl, and then he got I think they benched him the next year when they made the playoffs. They benched him in like a playoff game or something like that. And then he gets cut, and then I believe does he go instantly to the Titans? Let's quickly bring up Malcolm Butler stats quickly. So he leaves New England and then goes to Tennessee. Starts in 11 games his first year. Has 3 interceptions. Then only plays in 9 games in 2019, has 2 picks. Then returns to 16 games, has 4 picks. real solid, and then the Tennessee Titans just kind of are done with him. So Malcolm Butler has never been in like an A1 shutdown corner, never Richard Sherman level, just kind of makes some good plays here and there, which kind of buys him a couple of extra weeks, maybe an extra year on his contract, whatever it be, but he's just never been the greatest. So now he's here with the Cardinals, and we got a rookie out here, Byron Murphy, taking a big step out there, and rookie Marco Wilson is flashing good skills. Byron Murphy's looking real good out there as well. So we'll see what's going to shape out with the cornerback battle here with this Cardinals team no longer having that, great staple of Patrick Peterson. So the offense is great. Defense is something that we are going to have to kind of see how great it can be. Budda Baker just emerged last season. Malcolm Butler, what does he have left? What is this rookie looking like? And how is Byron Murphy kind of looking at number one? So that's the top 5 takeaways from the Cardinals. And we'll see what they're looking like this season. And we still got our team refresher to do on them as well, and see kind of what else they've got rocking here. So all right, folks, that's all the stories that we needed to cover and talk about for today. So let's head over and continue on with our 2021 Titans team refresher. We started part 1 yesterday, so let's wrap it up. Just kind of key refreshers on what we talked about yesterday in part 1. We believe in Ryan Tannehill. We believe in A.J. Brown. We believe in Julio Jones, the great chemistry that they're already having. Julio Jones not coming over and saying, hey, this is my team now, just kind of wanting to kind of fit in the background. Honestly, Derrick Henry, y'all, we don't even need to talk about him. He's the greatest running back of all time. Y'all heard me. That was not a missay. That was not a misquote. Greatest running back of all time. I don't know what y'all want me to say. He's the greatest running back of all time. So they win the Super Bowl because of that. Yeah. So Derrick Henry's great. All the offense is great. The only cause for concern is their new offensive coordinator. We're not the biggest fans of. We saw him be an offensive coordinator a couple of times in his career, and the offense was looking a little poor overall in that season. He also never really utilized the running game that much, and you're going to have to utilize the running game here because of Derrick Henry. So the offensive coordinator is the biggest red spot on this Titans offense, and we'll see how they overcome it. All right, so that's what we've covered already. So now let's start to see what they just did in totality last year. How many wins did they have? Who did they beat? Close games, blowouts. What was it like? What did they look like in the playoffs? And then we'll keep going from there. So here we go. Let's get the Titans last year up. Alrighty, here we go. All right, they went 11-5 last year, made it to the playoffs, but then lost the wild card game. So let's walk through their schedule last season and see who they were beating, who they were losing to. Were they beating the greatest teams? Were they beating the trash teams, losing against the good teams? Let's see. So here we go. Week 1, they beat the Broncos 16-14. They beat the Jaguars 33-30. They beat the Vikings 31-30. So real close games right off the rip, just barely winning. Then they go out and beat the Bills week 4, 42-16, an absolute blowout. Jeez Louise. And then they go out and beat the Texans in overtime, winning 42-36. So once again, they've proven that they can score the ball. Their defense, oh my God, giving up all these points, 30 points, 36 points, 30 points again. So that defense that just lost Malcolm Butler, we'll see who they replaced them with, what they shored up on defense, because we are going to have to see a better defense than this, and we are going to get to the overall stats of the Titans and the Titans offense and defense, what it was looking like compared to everybody else, because it seems like they were giving up a lot of points. We'll see how it looked in relation to everybody else in a second, but let's continue on with their schedule. Then they go out and face the Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember, early Pittsburgh Steelers had a great offense, great defense, started 11-0, and then Big Ben's arm started to went, and the defense started to kind of melt down a little bit with the injuries. So they lose to the Steelers 24-27. Then they lose to the Bengals. A little kind of inexcusable loss here, losing 20-31, but giving up 31 points to that Bengals team with Joey B. I mean, I guess it's Joe Burrow, but geez Louise, they've got no help around him last season. T. Higgins, I guess. AJ Green wasn't really anything last year. All right, then they go out and beat the Chicago Bears 24-17. They lose to the Colts 17-34. Once again, the Colts is a real solid team. They lost to them by big time. Gave up 34 points as well. They beat the Ravens is that the second time? No. All right. They beat the Ravens 30-24 in overtime. They beat the Colts again. No, they lost the first time. So they beat the Colts and absolutely pounded them. They put up 45 points, folks. Truly revenge game, and won 45-26. Then they lost against the Browns, 35-41. Once again, giving up. I mean, folks, look at these point totals, folks, that we've been talking about. 41, 34, 31, 36, 30, 30. High. And look at this offense as well. Scoring 16, scoring 20, 24, 17, but then scoring 42, 42, 45, 30. So 35, 31, 46, 41. So kind of all over the place here. All right, let's continue on with the schedule here. They beat the Jaguars 31-10. Great blowout there. They beat the Lions 46-25. Once again, giving up 25 points to the Lions is still a little not the greatest. And then they lose against the Packers 14-41. Absolutely obliteration. And then the last game of the season, they win 41-38 against the Texans. Then they get into the playoffs. They lose 13-20. Let's check out the box score here and see what Ryan Tannehill was looking like, what Derrick Henry was doing, and compared to their counterparts. So Ryan Tannehill went 18 of 26 for only 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Unfortunate with that pick there. Derrick Henry only got 40 yards, so they truly shut that man down. They faced earlier in the season, and the Ravens truly kind of learned everything. I mean, that's in the regular season. Derrick Henry ran in overtime for the win, and the Ravens shut him down in the postseason. So they weren't able to kind of switch up what they were doing and confuse what the Ravens' game plan should have been. But Lamar Jackson didn't play any better. 17 of 24. I mean, that's 50% completion percentage right there for 179 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. He did rush for 136 yards, so geez, and 1 touchdown. So the legs of Lamar Jackson truly killed the Titans, and that was really it. The running backs, J.K. Dobbins, 43 yards, Gus Edwards, 38 yards, Marquise Brown, 19 yards rushing. Nobody really kind of catching. Well, Marquise Brown had 109 yards receiving as well. So overall, the speed of Lamar Jackson truly took over and beat the Titans last season. Alrighty, let's see what the Titans' overall offensive and defensive stats were looking like. So let's start here with the offense. The Titans last season, their offense ranked number 4 kind of overall. All right. They put up 491 points. The average was 396. So, I mean, that offense was killing it last year. 100 more points put up than the average. They put up 6,300 yards offensively. The average was 5,700. So, 600 more yards. That's fantastic. It seems like only one team had more yards. About one team put up more yards than the Titans did, and that was the Chiefs at 6,600. So that was great by the Titans. The offense was there, and we saw that with their point totals. Fantastic. Alrighty, passing. They threw for 3,600 yards. The average was 38. So once again, this is what we know about Ryan Tannehill. He's not the main factor of why they win these games, folks. I mean, the man's not throwing for 4,000 yards. The man is not airing it out, and he's below average. And when we just look at, so we say, the Titans kind of a top 4 offense last season. Just everyone else compared to them just has so many more yards kind of in the top 10. The Packers threw for 4,100 yards. The Bills threw for 4,600 yards. The Tampa Bay Bucks threw for 4,600 yards. The Saints threw for 3,700, but once again, Drew Brees was injured and missed like 6 games. So we can expect that offensive production to drop off in the past game. The Titans really don't have that excuse. The Chiefs threw for 4,800. The Ravens only threw for 2,700. But that's, once again, Lamar Jackson, more of a running dual threat quarterback. And I'm not saying he's a running back, but the offensive scheme is more run heavy. So once again, we're comparing Ryan Tannehill to a Saints offense that lost its main man for 5 games, and Lamar Jackson, who was just rushing the ball because they weren't even calling the deep ball because they don't have any deep ball wide receivers. So you're going to stick with what you're good with. So we got to see Ryan Tannehill and this offense kind of kick it into high gear, especially when you've still got 2 great wide receivers, but you can't fall in love with the passing game because you have Derrick Henry. You can't forget about the running game, and that's where the Titans really kind of showed their strength. 2,600 yards rushing. The Ravens had 3,000 yards rushing because, Lamar Jackson and the 3 great running backs. And were they number 2? Anybody else got more than 2,600 besides the Ravens? They don't. So the Titans were the second best rushing team last season, which obviously. So the average was 1,900 and they had 2,600, so 700 more yards rushing than the average. So we all know that the Titans are a little bit more of a better running team than the passing team because it's obvious. Derrick Henry's better than Ryan Tannehill. That's easy to say. All right, let's see where this Titans defense ranked. Here we go. The Titans had a number 24 defense. Absolutely very bad. They gave up 439 points. The average was 396, so about 50 more points than the average. That's, once again, not good, and we just saw that in the point totals when we were looking over them. We were like, damn, these are very, very high, and that's exactly what it is. They gave up 6,300 yards in total. Is that the most? Who gave up more than 6,300? The Texans gave up 6,600. The Jags gave up 6,600. The Lions gave up 6,700. Geez. So Titans giving up a ton of yards, a ton of points. All right, now let's see if it was their passing defense or rushing defense that was kind of hurting them. Or was it both? Let's see. The Titans, they gave up 4,400 yards passing. The average was 3,800. So once again, bad passing defense. Rushing defense, they gave up 1,900 rushing yards, and the average was 1,900. So it's really their passing defense, and that's where Malcolm Butler comes in, and that's probably why they kind of, let him walk. So now we're going to have to see who the Titans picked up for their corners to kind of shore up their passing defense, because we know their running defense is about average, so not bad. All right, so let's start seeing what they did in the offseason. Let's get their all offseason moves, and then we'll talk about them, and then we can see what they did in the draft, in their offensive line, and then their just overall write-up, and then we'll go through their schedule. So here we go, the Titans offseason moves. Let's see what we got cooking. What do we got cooking? Alrighty, so they bring back Anthony Firkser, and he's really going to have to get it done because they've got no more Jonnu Smith, so that tight end position of Anthony Firkser, he's going to have to get it done. And was Anthony Firkser, let's get up the Titans depth chart. I believe he's tight end number 1 for this Titans team. Yes, he is now the new starting tight end. Last season, Anthony Firkser had 387 yards. Y'all know, if it's not clear with the flag behind us, we are big on the tight end narrative, the tight end university. We absolutely love that. And we kind of give more credit to the tight ends that participated in tight end university because you learned from the best of the best. Travis Kelce, George Kittle, put it together. With Greg Olsen, don't want to leave him out. He's not playing anymore, but he was, one of the OG greats. So let's see if Anthony Firkser was at tight end university. Double check this. I'm almost certain he was, but if he definitely was, then we can give the Titans an extra kind of boost offensively when we talk about him. So here we go. Anthony Firkser, where art thou? Where art thou? Please, please, please attend tight end university so we can get a little bit big on you. And there he is. Anthony Firkser did attend, so we can get a little bit bigger on Anthony Firkser now. Love that. So, starting tight end, they also bring in Bud Dupree. He came off of an injury. Hopefully, he's good to go. Great kind of edge rusher for the Steelers and now with this Titans team. So, that's a great kind of pickup there defensively. Once again, rushing the passer. That's exactly what you need. That's what beats good passing ability. Getting there, moving them off their mark, not letting them get time to throw. And that's why Patrick Mahomes kind of floundered in the Super Bowl because he was rushing for his life. So, bringing in Bud Dupree. They bring in Janoris Jenkins, a corner. Fantastic. Let's bring up Janoris Jenkins on our favorite website, playerprofile.com, so we can see what these corners are doing against these wide receivers out here. Are they locking up the A1 Tier 1 wide receivers? Let's see. So Janoris Jenkins, he is 32, a little bit of a veteran out here, and he's only 5'10". A little on the short side, but does he have the goods? All right, here we go. Janoris Jenkins against Scotty Miller, 5 of 5 for 73 yards. He did have an interception, but overall, a little bit of a burn there. Against Henry Ruggs, 3 of 6 for 29 yards and a pass breakup. Good lockdown. Against Marquez Valdes-Scantling, 4 of 7 for 20 yards. Great lockdown. Against Robbie Anderson, 0 of 1 for 0 yards. Great lockdown. Against Darnell Mooney of the Bears, 6 of 6 for 78 yards. A little bit of a burn there, folks. Against Antonio Brown, 3 of 6 for 33 yards and a pass breakup. We got Calvin Ridley, 5 of 11 for 82 yards. He did have 4 pass breakups and an interception. So overall, probably got burned on 1 pass, but every other kind of play, locking him down. That's pretty solid there. We'll give him credit for that one. Against Tim Patrick of the Broncos, 0 of 3. That's a great lockup and a pick. Fantastic. Against Jalen Reagor, 4 of 6 for 69 yards and a pass breakup. Demarcus Robinson, 6 of 8 for 73 yards, a little bit of a burn there. And then Adam Thielen, 8 of 9 for 94 yards and a pass breakup. Once again, a little bit of a burn there, but overall, a real solid cornerback right there in Janoris Jenkins. And while we're at it, let's get up Malcolm Butler. Let's see what he's truly looking like in the stats department, because I feel like that's something that gets overlooked on Malcolm Butler. We all just kind of go to that. I mean, well, just in my, well, me, let me just say that and see if y'all agree. When I hear Malcolm Butler, I just I can't help but not think back to that kind of interception on the goal line, of those great instincts and that great hustle and that great finesse and that great just kind of high IQ that you need to play the game. But how is he looking against covering the best corners out here? So let's get up Malcolm Butler's stats quickly. Is Janoris Jenkins an upgrade over Malcolm Butler? I would say yes, because Janoris Jenkins is a little... Wow, Malcolm Butler's 31 too. Damn. Where does the time go, folks? I don't freaking know. Here we go. Let's talk about Malcolm Butler. Here we go. Against Tim Patrick, 4 of 5 for 36 yards. Solid lockup right there. Against DJ Chark, 6 of 11 for 85 yards and 2 pass breakups. A little all right. It's not bad. Against Justin Jefferson, 4 of 6 for 54 yards and 2 pass breakups. Once again, it's all right. It's pretty okay. Against Gabriel Davis of the Bills, 5 of 11 for 51 yards and 2 picks. That's a great night right there. Against Brandon Cook, 6 of 10 for 106 yards. A little bit of a burn. Against Chase Claypool, 3 of 4 for 29 yards, great lockup. Against A.J. Green, 3 of 6 for 23 yards, 4 pass breakups, great lockup. Against Allen Robinson, 7 of 9 for 81 yards, 2 pass breakups, a little mediocre-ish. T.Y. Hilton, 5 of 6 for 66 yards, not terrible. Against Dez Bryant, 5 of 6 for 42 yards, once again, not bad. High catch percentage, but not a lot of yards, so we'll give him credit. Against Michael Pittman, 3 of 5 for 14 yards, great lockup. Rashad Higgins, 5 of 7 for 34 yards, good lockup right there. DJ Chark, 4 of 12 for 47 yards. Once again, that's not a bad lockup right there. Against Devontae Adams, 6 of 8 for 92 yards, 1 pass breakup and 1 interception. So once again, not bad overall, truly. And then the last game of the season, Brandon Cooks, 8 of 13 for 109 yards. That's a little bit of a burn. So overall, Malcolm Butler wasn't that bad. Why do you let him go? I don't know why everyone just lets this man go. It seems like he's solid. Maybe not, your number 1 corner, but definitely a number 2, I would say. Solid, but everyone just lets him walk. So real interesting. It's just interesting. I don't get it. I don't know why. It's interesting. All right, let's get back here. So they get Janoris Jenkins. That's a good pickup right there. We like that. And then they get a linebacker, Jaylen Brown. I believe that's a re-sign. That is a re-sign of Jaylen Brown. And then they bring in Josh Reynolds, another solid wide receiver out here. I believe he's pretty tall. Let's bring up his stats. I think he was the number 3 wide receiver for the Rams last season, behind Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Let's see what Josh Reynolds was doing. He's 6'3", so great height there. 618 yards last season, 64% catch percentage. How many touchdowns? 2 touchdowns. Not bad. Overall, pretty solid there. For, this Titans team that just needs a number 3. You got A.J. Brown. You have Julio Jones. Let's see where Josh Reynolds is officially on their depth chart at the current moment. And he's number 3, and that's exactly what I want my number 3 to look like right there. 6'3", 600 yards. I'll take that absolutely all day. So some real solid, great pickups here in the offseason for the Titans. Now let's see who they lost. They lost Corey Davis, but they bring in Julio Jones. So kind of a big cancel out there. Great wide receivers. They lose a defensive lineman right there, Daquan Jones. They lose Desmond King II, another corner. Let's see where Desmond King is at here. We'll go through this quickly. Desmond King, he's only 26. Yeah, nice young gun out here. Once again, 5'10". What's up with all these short corners out there? Get your height up. We got, 6'6" Darren Waller we got to be covering, Come on. We got Tyreek Hill. I guess he's 5'10", but still that speed. Y'all better be hoping if you're 5'10" that you can keep up with the speed of Tyreek Hill, or you're going to get mossed by 6'1" DeAndre Hopkins. So I want my corners to be 6'10", folks. All right, let's see what Desmond King was doing. Against Tyreek Hill, 1 of 1 for 2 yards. Ooh, that's a lockup, even though he didn't really play on him that much. Against DJ Moore, 3 of 3 for 32 yards. Keelan Cole, 3 of 5 for 36 yards. Traquan Smith, 5 of 8 for 60 yards. Willie Snead, 2 of 4 for 14 yards. This man is always kind of on the number 2s out here, never really guarding a number 1 wide receiver. Against Willie Snead, 2 of 4 for 14 yards. Zach Poshkull, 7 of 7 for 80 yards. That's a burn. Keelan Cole, round number 2, 5 of 8 for 41 yards and a pass breakup. Once again, solid. Marvin Jones, 2 of 6 for 14 yards. Alan Lazard, 2 of 2 for 28 yards. Kiki QT, 3 of 4 for 16 yards. So he can lock up the number 2 solidly. Absolutely. But they let him go. They also lost Jadeveon Clowney, a pass rusher, so they bring in a pass rusher, they lose a corner, bring in a corner, and then they lose a tight end and keep their own tight end. They lost Jonnu Smith, like we said. So overall, it seems like they've kind of plugged every hole that they lost, which is obviously a great sign. Let's see what they went and did in the draft. Let's see what the Titans got in the draft here. All right, we had it. Here we go. All right, in the draft, they go and get a corner, Caleb Fairley. All right, so once again, just shoring up that corner. And I believe, is it the back injury? Is that what Caleb Fairley kind of big knock is? Let's see. I thought there was Caleb Fairley. Doesn't he have the back injury? Who's got the back injury? Let me Google this. Back surgery. Back injury, back surgery. So it does seem like this is the man. Fairley recently went into detail about his back injury. He explained that it occurred during a deadlift exercise, which damaged his lumbosacral joint that connects the L5 and S1 discs. All right, so he did have that back injury, and back injuries are no joke, folks. If you have a back injury, you're done. You're done. Just look at Michael Porter Jr. in the NBA, folks. I mean, he's great, but that back injury, as the season progresses, is going to stiffen up, and then he went ghost mode in the playoffs. So Caleb Fairley, we hope that doesn't happen to him, but do they have him listed as their number 1 corner? What do we got here? Yeah, Caleb Fairley is their number 1 corner. He's going to have to kind of jump in there and be that great kind of lockdown, and hopefully that back doesn't tighten up at all this season. So it's a good draft pick if he can stay healthy. Then they went out and got an offensive tackle in the 2nd round. They got a linebacker in the 3rd round and another cornerback in the 3rd round as well, Elijah Molden. A little bit of a insurance policy on Caleb Fairley. Caleb Fairley is 6'2", folks. Absolutely fantastic. Elijah Molden back to 5'10". So that's what we're working with here. We need Caleb Fairley just for the skill set, but also for the height back there too. All right, 4th round, they get Des Fitzpatrick, a 6'2" wide receiver, seeing if he works out. Like we say, anything that's kind of 4th round or later, really don't expect to start. All 1st, 2nd, 3rd round picks have an ability to start, so we'll see how they all work out. Also in the 4th round, they get a defensive end, Rashad Weaver. And then 6th round, they get a wide receiver, 6'3", fantastic, and a safety. So overall, they tried to shore up their defense a little bit with the first 3 picks, first 3 third-round picks, I should say. 2 corners, a linebacker, and an offensive lineman with their first 3-round picks. We'll see how they adjust and how they kind of acclimate here for this Titans team, and if they are going to be Week 1 starters or not, or just starters or good rotational pieces, relievers, whatever they kind of translate to. All right, let's see where this Titans offensive line was ranking. We know that Derrick Henry rushed for 2,000 yards last season, so the offensive line should be solid, right? So let's see what PFF is saying. This is what we're taking. We're not taking this as the gospel. We're just seeing a good benchmark. That's all we want to get on this, a good benchmark of what the line is like. So here we go, the final 2020 offensive line rankings by PFF. Let's see where they rank the Titans. Here we go. We're scrolling. We don't want to scroll too long, obviously, because that means they're, bad or just not very highly ranked. Here we go, number 15. Let's see what they say about them. Here we go. The Titans as a whole were a much better run blocking than pass blocking group. Like we said, the stats are not lying, folks. The rushing game was a lot better than the passing game. Ryan Tannehill not throwing for 4,000 yards and being below average in the passing game, and Derrick Henry being above average in the rushing game. We know this. So the Titans as a whole were a much better run blocking than a pass blocking group. There was not a single starter on the Tennessee offensive line that recorded a higher pass blocking grade than run blocking grade. Derrick Henry, being the first team All-Pro running back, obviously played a role in their rushing success this season, but the guys up front also did a good job of blocking for one of the most interesting run schemes in the NFL. The Titans ran more outside zone, 45% of the rushes, than any other team than the Bears, but many of their better runs of the season came in duo. The tackle position was their biggest concern for the Titans this season, with the off-field troubles putting a sizable blemish on the rookie season of first-round pick Isaiah Wilson and an injury to Taylor Lewan, compounding the loss of Jack Conklin on the other side in free agency. Those are big contributing factors to some of Tennessee's struggles in pass protection this year. So we have Isaiah Wilson. He got injured, so is he back here for this Titans team? Is he back in the starting lineup? Here we go. They don't have Isaiah Wilson on their roster anymore. So, alrighty, interesting there. Did we say that they lost him? Was that the person that they lost? Let's quickly see. No, they didn't. They don't have any mention of losing Isaiah Thompson. What was that? Forgot the name already. Isaiah Wilson. So he's not back. All right, what about Tyler Lewan, who got injured? He's back. Tyler Lewan is back at left tackle. So Tyler Lewan is back. They've got their rookie that they drafted, Dylan Renews. Is he listed as their starting lineman? Where they got him at? They do got Dylan Redunes as their starting right tackle. So we'll see if the rookie can make an impact. So overall, offensive line is going to have to kind of get a little bit better in the passing game, rushing game. Try to be as good as you can, but we know Derrick Henry can take over. All right, and then the last thing to kind of go over is another off-season just kind of report card, this time from Bleacher Report. Just once again, just kind of see what this team is all about, what they're saying on them, and once again, getting a nice little refresher on who they lost and what they gained and everything like that. So let's go to the Tennessee Titans quickly, and then we'll walk through their schedule to see how many wins we can give this team. Tennessee Titans, here we go. Alrighty. So the key additions, obviously signing edge rusher Bud Dupree, defensive lineman Danico Autry, offensive tackle Kendall Lamb, cornerback Janoris Jenkins, cornerback Kevin Johnson, wide receiver Josh Reynolds, and linebacker Jayon Brown. Then the additions through the draft, Caleb Fairley, Dylan Radnews, and Elijah Molden, all first 3-round picks, like we said. And then their key departures, tight end Jonnu Smith, wide receiver Corey Davis, Adam Humphries, they've also lost, Malcolm Butler, Adoree Jackson, another corner, Jadeveon Clowney, and Kenny Vaccaro, and then, like we know, like we already said, Corey Davis. All right, now let's see what Bleacher Report is saying in their 3 paragraphs on this team. So here we go. The Tennessee Titans desperately needed pass rushing help after posting the lowest sack rate in the league last season. Yeah, that will do it, folks. Why they were number 24 defensively, absolutely. And Dupree should help with that, truly. I'm a big fan of Bud Dupree. We love that Steelers defense last season. Unfortunately, all the injuries and, Bud Dupree, coming off of an ACL injury, will cost an average of $16 million a year, and they could have had Ngakoue, Trey Hendrickson, Carl Lawson, Matthew Judon, or Hassan Reddick for a lot less. So they are betting highly on Bud Dupree to come back healthy off the injury, and ACL tears are never great. That's far from ideal when you got as many prime in-house free agents as the Titans, who lost key starters Smith, Davis, Butler, and Jackson, and didn't do enough to replace those guys on the open market or in the draft. But overall, I mean, like we said, they were very, very well below average in the pass defense. So once again, yeah, they lost those corners, but overall, they weren't making the biggest impact. Yeah, they were still winning games, which is still a good sign. You don't want to kind of be a bad defense and start losing games. So the one kind of silver lining was that they were winning games, but overall, how sustainable is that going to be? Because they could be just start, flip of a coin, losing those games as well, because they were giving up a lot of points and a lot of yards through the air. So yeah, they lost some corners, but let's see if these new guns, these new pickups, can start locking it down in the passing game. Jenkins, Johnson, Fairley, and Molden could transform the secondary, but Jenkins is 32. Johnson has had a disappointing career. Fairley enters the league with questions about his durability and technique, and nobody wants to rely on a third-round pick like Molden. On top of that, they're going to miss Smith, one of quarterback Ryan Tannehill's favorite red zone targets, but they got Julio Jones, so this last paragraph is a little butt kiss. But, this was written before the trade, so no fault of their own. There's no way this is a good grade. So overall, it's just a defense that needs to come out and prove that it's got the goods, that it can deliver. The offense we're really kind of big on. The offensive coordinator, we'll see if they kind of play to their strengths. And Mike Vogel, we are big on him as a coach, so we'll see if they can get it done. So overall, let's just take one little quick at their defense here. They got Denico Autry. What did he do last year in terms of sacks? He had 7.5. Pretty solid with the Colts last year, I believe. Jeffrey Simmons, what did he do last year for sacks? Only 3. Got to get that number up. So pass rushers, Bud Dupree. How many sacks did he have last year before he got injured? He had 8 sacks. Whoosh, sheesh. Fantastic. What else we got? Rashad Evans, linebacker, Jayon Brown, Janoris Jenkins, Kevin Byard, free safety. We like Caleb Fairley. So overall, a solid defense, but we need the rookies to make a big impact, and same with Bud Dupree. Alrighty, now let's walk through their schedule and see how many wins we can give this team so far, and then we'll place them on our working list to see where they kind of compare to everybody else that we've done thus far. So here we go, the Tennessee Titans, easy schedule, hard schedule, favorable schedule, winnable schedule. Let's find out, folks. Here we go, week 1. They are at home against the Cardinals. Woof. This is going to be a real tough game because we are big fans on this Cardinals team. Their offense especially. So this great Cardinals offense going against a questionable Titans defense. The Cardinals defense is a little questionable in itself against this great Titans offense. I'm going to give the Titans a win because it is week 1 and they are at home. That's basically their only saving grace here. Going to be a real close game. Great week 1 game to really see what these kind of teams are made of early on. But I'm going to give the Titans a win here. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll have the Titans win week 1. Then week 2, they have to go to Seattle in a kind of a little bit of an afternoon game, 4:25 start on the road. I'm giving the Seattle the win there. Then week 3 against the Colts, they're at home. This is going to be once again a great game. Real tough schedule here for the Titans, real early on. But we're expecting Carson Wentz. We're expecting him to be back week 4, but he could be back. Oh, this one's so hard because he could be back week 1. He could be back week 2. He could be back before week 1. So, Carson Wentz may be back by week 3, folks. He really could be back by week 3. Oh, this one's tough, man. That Colts defense is going to be good, too. This one's tough. I'm going to give the Titans a loss here, folks. I'm sorry. Only 1 win so far against the Cardinals. Man. Then they go and face the Jets. I'll give them a win there. Then they go and face the Jaguars. They'll give them a win there. They're on the road. I don't care. They have to go and face the Bills. This is a Monday night game. They are at home for it, but I'm going to give the Bills a win. And then they go and face the Chiefs. Going to give the Chiefs a win there. Then they go and face the Colts again. I'll have them split against the Colts. Let's have them split against the Colts. So we'll give them a win for their home game against the Colts. This one here on October 31st is on the road, so we'll give them a loss there. So we're back at 4 wins for this Colts team. Or for this Titans team, excuse me. Then they go at the Rams. Got to give them a loss there. That defense really should lock this Titans team down. And that Rams offense, I don't know if the Titans defense can get it done. Then they go and face the Saints. I'm going to give them a win here because I don't know if we're going to like the Saints team overall. We only had them at 6 wins. Then they go and face the Texans. We'll give them a win there. The Texans are absolutely trash. Deshaun Watson's not going to be playing, and that's their only saving grace. Deshaun Watson can turn that trash team into a bad team. He can turn a trash team to a bad team. We saw that last season, but it doesn't translate to wins. So we'll give them a win here. Then they go at the Patriots. This is going to be an interesting game, but I think they can win this. I don't like this Patriots offense. I don't buy Cam Newton, and I don't know if I buy Mac Jones either. And I don't buy any of their tier 2 weapons that they're trying to, pass off as, golden gooses out here. So I'll give them a win against the Patriots. Wow, late bye here. Then they come out of the bye against the Jaguars. I'm going to have them sweeping the Jags. Pittsburgh late in the year, folks. At Pittsburgh, gonna be a great one. Bud Dupree back there, a little bit of a redemption game. Gonna be close, but I am gonna give them a loss because they are on the road, unfortunately. Then they go and face the 49ers. This one is on Thursday Night Football, primetime game. They're at home against the 49ers. I'm going to have get a win here because we're uncertain on what the hell is going on with the quarterbacks here, and Jimmy Garoppolo late in the season could be injured. So I'll give the Titans a win there. Then they go and face the Dolphins. They're at home. This defense of the Dolphins could be real solid. I think this is a big winnable game, but it is still, well, I don't know. It's close. We like the Dolphins, obviously. Their offense should be real solid at the end of the year, fighting for playoff spots, fighting for the AFC. Titans are at home. I'll give them a win against the Dolphins. And then the last week of the season, they face the Texans. They sweep the Texans. So this Titans team will have them at 11 wins. They have a real tough starting schedule, but it starts to kind of loosen up at the back end, which is probably good. No? Cardinals, Seahawks, Colts is a real kind of brutal 3-game gauntlet to start. But then you face the Jets and the Jags, and then it gets a little bit bumpy again with the Bills, Chiefs, and Colts and the Rams. But then the last, what do we got? I mean, this stretch here, down the stretch, Saints, Texans, Patriots, bye, Jaguars, Steelers, 49ers, Dolphins, Texans. I mean, that's a real favorable end of the season schedule right there for what? How many weeks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The last 9 weeks are all winnable, folks. Absolutely. So we'll have them at 11 wins. All right. Favorable schedule for this Titans team. 11-6 they go. All right, now where do we rank them? So I'm going to put them under Washington because I think this Titans team can get the wins, but how is their overall defense and offense going to look? Are they just squeaking out wins? Are they not putting up a lot of points? Anything like that. So this is a winnable schedule. I'm just not sure if this overall offense is going to be kind of great enough. Like we said, the red flag with the offensive coordinator, the defense, big question marks as well. Maybe they're just winning because they're not facing that good teams. Like we said, if they can go out and kind of show us early on that they're going out and beating the Cardinals and the Seahawks, and they're having real great success against the Colts, and then they go to Buffalo and show out there, maybe not win, but at least compete. Same thing with the Chiefs, maybe, don't win, but compete, one possession loss, close game, something like that. Same thing with the Rams. So if they can go out and prove that they can go out and beat and compete with these kind of good AFC teams and good NFC teams, we can buy the Titans a little bit more. Only time will tell, and I'm not a big fan of that offense coordinator. So I'm going to drop them right below Washington. I'll keep them above the Raiders because I think I can trust that Titans offense a little bit more than the Raiders offense. It's real close. It's real tough. So we'll have the Titans there. We'd still like Washington because their ceiling is high. Really, they've got good pieces everywhere. Ryan Fitzpatrick is really going to be, the make it or break it with them, and their defense, they can rely heavy on it. So that's why we're big on this Washington team. So we'll leave the Titans at 11-6 right below Washington, above the Raiders, above the Falcons, above the Broncos, above the Saints, above the Lions. I think that's a good spot for them right now. We can move it. Folks, you see how easy it is to move pieces on this list? Just that. We can move it, slide it up, slide it down. So we'll leave the Titans right there. I think that's a good spot for them right there. Winnable schedule, winnable, favorable schedule for them. Let's see them go out and kind of earn that Super Bowl. Let's see. Alrighty, folks. So that's going to do it for us today and our team refresher. We're back tomorrow with a new team. And then we're out of here for today. Anything breaking as we were live. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to you for listening. Thank you for watching. Anything breaking as we were live. Why the Rams should trade for Gardner Minshew? No. Why? You've got Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's got 5 years left. No need for the Gardner. Alrighty. Yeah, that's going to do it. Nothing's breaking, it seems, which is good. I think. I don't know how I feel about it. Do I want to have breaking news at the end of the show? Do I want to talk about it? Look at this cat. Squirting milk while he's looking into this other cat's face. Cat got a cone of shame too. Unfortunate. I'm a cat guy, folks. I know. All right. That's going to do it for us today. We'll break down that cat video a little bit more in depth tomorrow. That great licking action. Alrighty, folks. We're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you.